What is up, you guys? It's your favorite cutie, Mel, back again on my Soul Pod channel to give you guys yet another video. And today, we're continuing our conversation on All About Love by Bell Hooks. So today we're going to be talking about chapter 4, titled Commitment. Let Love Be Loving Me. If you guys are interested in this book and having it yourself, there will be a link down in the description for Amazon if you guys want to just go ahead and purchase it and read along with me. If not, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up because I will be sharing with you guys, what I'm learning as I'm reading this book. So let's hop into it. Commitment is inherent in any genuinely loving relationship. Anyone who is truly concerned for the spiritual growth of another knows, consciously or instinctively, that he or she can significantly foster growth only through a relationship of consistency. Okay? Sorry about the background noise. So I'm going to share with you guys what I highlighted today, and then we'll just kind of, organically dive in and out about what I think about what's being said. Commitment to truth lays the groundwork for openness and honesty that is the heartbeat of love. Self-love cannot flourish in isolation. So basically, this chapter starts off talking about like how most people don't have a clear definition of self-love and how do we get to self-love. So she starts off talking about honesty and how important it is not just to be honest with yourself, but also honest with others if you're trying to interact in a loving way with them. And in order to know if you really do love yourself, you have to be able to reflect and be honest about what you see and how you treat yourself. So let's continue. Using a working definition of love that tells us it is the actions we take on behalf of our own or another spiritual growth provides us with the beginning blueprint for working on the issue of self-love. When we see love as a combination of trust, commitment, care, respect, knowledge, and responsibility, we can work on developing these qualities, or if they are already a part of who we are, we can learn to extend them to ourselves. Simply learning how we have acquired feelings of worthlessness rarely enables us to change things. Okay, so these are separate passages, but let me just stop there because I feel like I am hopping around. So yeah, first, what's important if you want to do anything is to first define what it is, define the vision of where you're going. So she gives us a definition of self-love. And you also can always define self-love yourself and then just decide if you are doing those things and upholding those principles in order to give you the end result. Okay, so then she starts to talk about how usually the first step for us to move into a journey of self-love is to first kind of move out of the unconscious and kind of discover where we even got certain beliefs and behaviors from to begin with, which starts with childhood. Just like everything else, we learn from the adults in our environments and just the people around us, how to view ourselves, how to view others, how to treat ourselves. So she talks about how you can start there. But however, just knowing your story and even doing all the work to kind of trace back where you got certain behaviors and beliefs and stuff, that alone is not going to be enough to start your self-love journey. You can start with that information, but simply that's not enough. Okay, so that's what she's saying. I share this because it's far too easy to stay stuck simply telling one story over and over again, which can be a way of holding on to grief about the past or holding on to a narrative that places blame on others. Now, this was very important. I definitely can relate to this 1000% because I started getting into self-work about a couple years ago at this point, and I just remember trying to trace back certain beliefs and why I felt the way that I felt, and I felt like I blamed a lot on my dad, a lot on my stepdad, and even to this day sometimes it's hard for me not to kind of feel resentment when I think about my dad sometimes and just our relationship and how I feel like it's molded me. But blaming others is not going to get me where I need to go. So recently I started trying to just really forgive my father and tell him, that I understand that whatever has happened and whatever is done, whether we agree on it or not, it's done, and there's nothing I can't go back and change it. So therefore, it's time to build this foundation. Okay, so let's keep reading. The next stage, which is actively introducing. Okay, so let me back up and start. Individuals who bypass the stage tend to move on to the next stage, which is actively introducing into our lives constructive, life-affirming thought patterns and behaviors. So yes, this is something that I feel like is very helpful and has been so instrumental in my life and things that I still do to this day. Affirmations are very important to me. I teach my son how to say affirmations because I want him to, even if I have any lack in my parenting, I want him to always know that he can affirm himself and that he can affirm whatever he needs, and affirm good, positive thoughts about himself and about the world and others. So I do this every single morning. It's very important, and it's a great place to start if you're looking to find self-love where you feel like it's lacking. And an affirmation is basically just like a I am statement, or just a statement, a positive statement in general. You can make negative affirmations as well, but this book is talking about positive statements. An example of that would be like, I am happy, I am joyful, I am a great person to be around, I am loved, I am accepted, I love myself completely. It could be anything like that. And with the repetition, if you take it seriously, over time, you will start to believe the things that you're saying, and it will become part of your natural thought pattern. And when you do get into a point where you're feeling kind of low and negative, you can always bounce back to those affirmations, which is very important. So when, say you're feeling down and you feel like, oh, nobody likes me, you can immediately stop that and say, I am loved, I am cared for. I have people around me that love me genuinely. So this will be an example of that. Okay. All right. The wounded heart learns self-love by first overcoming low self-esteem. Daniel Brandon's lengthy work, 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, highlights the important dimensions of self-esteem. The practice of living consciously, self-acceptance, self-responsibility, self-assertiveness, living purposely, and the practice of personal integrity. Living consciously means we think critically about ourselves and the world we live in. We dare to ask ourselves the basic questions: who, what, when, where, and why. Answering these questions usually provides us with a level of self-awareness that enlightens. Brandon contends to live consciously means to seek to be aware of everything that bears on our actions, purposes, values, and goals to the best of our ability, whatever that ability may be. To live consciously, we have to engage in critical reflection about the world we live in and know most intimately. Okay, so this is basically just everything that we were just touching on. But a huge part of self-love, in order to get there, you have to first start working on your self-esteem, which is what this book is talking about. So now let's move on to the next set of passages. Once we begin to replace negative thinking with positive thinking, it becomes utterly clear that, far from being realistic, negative thinking is absolutely disenabling. So yeah, basically, no judgment. We all start from somewhere, and some of us are very accustomed to very negative self-talk. So sometimes when you start to try to be positive and implement affirmations and implement new ways of thinking, it can feel fake. It can feel like this isn't real and this isn't going to work, and you could just be very negative and down on yourself. But over time, you will start to see that, positivity is not unrealistic, and you will see how negative thinking can stop you from seeing the goodness of life in the present, and can stop you from doing just whatever you need to do in order to love yourself and to be happy and joyful in life. All right, take third pillar of self-esteem. Brandon defines self-responsibility as the willingness to take responsibility for my actions and the attainment of my goals for my life and well-being. This is one of my favorites, and I feel like this is something that I've always been good at. If there's something that you want to do, Nothing to it but to do it. Self-responsibility is all about deciding that no matter whether your goal is tangible or not, like maybe your goal is just to love yourself more. It's about taking action and taking responsibility over that goal, not expecting it to just happen for you, but to actively seek it out and do things that are going to aid you in the accomplishment of that goal. So that it's going to make you feel good. I feel like it makes you feel wonderful when you really just go for it, and you have a sense of purpose in life, and there's nothing or no one who can get in the way of that, because you were determined to take responsibility for changing your life, changing whatever it is that you want to change, or just bringing something into the world. Makes you feel really good about yourself. Okay, taking responsibility means that in the face of barriers, we still have the capacity to invent our lives, to shape our destinies in ways that maximize our well-being. Another vital aspect of self-esteem is self-assertiveness, the willing to stand up for myself, to be who I am openly, to treat myself with respect in all human encounters. Many of us learn that passivity lessen the possibility of attack. The fear of being self-assertive usually surfaces in women who have been trained to be good girls or dutiful daughters. If we succeed without confronting or changing our shaky... Okay, so before I get into that, because that's getting towards the end of the chapter. So yes, self-assertiveness is very important, because someone who loves themselves is not going to put themselves in a situation or interact with people who make them feel less than, or even put themselves in an environment or stay in an environment in which they feel like they're being disrespected. And self-assertiveness will definitely increase your self-love, because you just feel so much better when you are your own protector. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't protect yourself, you're doomed to just being at the mercy of any situation or any treatment. Like, it's okay to speak up for yourself, and in fact, you want to be around people and you want to be in environments which it is okay for you to express yourself, and it's okay for you to speak your mind in a respectful way. Like, it doesn't have to be negative, but it is important to put yourself in a place where you're okay speaking up for yourself and setting standards for yourself and sticking by them, and having standards about what you will and won't accept. Okay, lastly, it goes into this. If we succeed without confronting and changing shaky foundations of low self-esteem rooted in contempt and hatred, we will falter along the way. It is no accident that living purposely in this sixth element of self-esteem, taking responsibility for consciously creating goals, identifying the actions necessary to achieve them, making sure our behavior is in alignment with our goals, and paying attention to the outcome of our actions so that we see whether they are leading us to where we want to go. Most people do not grow up learning that the work we choose to do will have a major impact on our capacity to be self-loving. Doing work we hate assaults our self-esteem and self-confidence, but we can all enhance our capacity to live purposely by learning how to experience satisfaction in whatever work we do. Doing a job well, even if we do not enjoy what we are doing, means that we leave it with a feeling of well-being, our self-esteem intact. That self-esteem aids us when we go in search of a job that can be more fulfilling. Do what you love, the money will follow as a way. Okay, Marcia Centenar writes about this concept in her book, Do What You Love, the money will follow, as in a way to encourage readers to take risks of choosing work that they care about, and therefore learning through experience the meaning of the right livelihood. So I wanted to talk about this because I shared on my channel not too long ago about how when I stopped working for myself, I decided that I was just going to get some jobs, and it completely changed me as a person in a negative way, because I hated the jobs that I was doing, and because I wasn't willing to leave yet, or I was trying to make that work, I was absolutely a miserable person. I was so much more snappy, I was sleepy, and I felt like I was disrespecting myself by going to the jobs that I was going to, not because I was necessarily being treated badly, but it's just that I didn't like what I was doing, and work can take up so much of our life that if you don't enjoy something, I feel like it's a part of respecting yourself to like either find something that's going to work better for you, or to just remove yourself and trust that something better is going to come along, because it has a huge effect on how you feel about yourself. I know I can speak to that myself. All right, and let's see. So now it goes on to talk about self love and unconditional love that we can give to ourselves. So basically, when we give this precious gift to ourselves, we are able to reach out to others from a place of fulfillment and not from a place of lack. So she's just talking about how when your cup is full and when you love yourself and you give yourself that gift of self-love and you're respecting yourself, you're committed to your goals, you're, being assertive about what you will accept, what you won't accept, and speaking up for yourself, and all of the elements of self-love, that's a gift to yourself and others, because when you feel good, naturally you'll be better to others and people will appreciate that, and it's easier to be loving and it's easier to be loved when you're actually like pouring out from a full place and not like depleted place. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and end that. Short and sweet. I felt like it was a very simple chapter. It wasn't anything like too deep. I feel like a lot of it to me felt like stuff that I already know, and I think a lot of us intuitively already know, but it is something to think about. Just making sure that you're committed to yourself at the end of the day, committed to your happiness, committed to your love. Whatever you want to do, go after it, make a plan, make sure you're in alignment, stand up for yourself, love yourself, talk nice to yourself, all of that. And speaking of talking nice, if you want a reminder, you could go ahead and cop these Be My Lover bracelets down in the description box. They are handmade by me. They are only $11.11, and it is a reminder and an omen to be your own lover. I know a lot of people think that these are like, just Valentine's bracelets, but I believe that we should be our own lover, because it's the relationship that we have with ourselves that ultimately shapes the lives that we live and the love that we attract. So if you want that reminder, go ahead and get these. I also have keychains in that link below, Be My Lover. If you want to put these on your bag or your wallet or your phone, go ahead and do that. And as always, stay posh and stay cute. Thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're looking forward to hearing the rest of these chapters. Bye. Mwah.